What's up, fight fans? It's your man 3K the Boss, aka Mr. Two Hands Up with the fucked up middle finger though. But no disrespect to y'all though. Oh yeah, let me tell y'all about this, because I'm sure y'all gonna be like, what the fuck is this weird shit on my finger? Yo, I was trying to get some clothes out of the laundry basket or whatever, and I got this fucking tweeted freaking wooden laundry basket or whatever, and I stuck my finger in there and boom, splinter goes straight up underneath my fingernail in the bedding of my finger. Pulled it out, blood starts squirting everywhere. End of that story. Well, let's continue. Let's get to what we all came for. Let's get to what we all love to talk about, the sweet, sweet science, boxing, the world of boxing, the sport we love, the sport that we love, the love that we love to hate, all of its beauty, all of the drama, all of the corruption, all of the great victories, the pound for pound champs, the fans, the girls, just the aura around boxing is just, it's everything. Okay, so I'm here to talk to you guys about Eddie Hearn, Andy Ruiz, Anthony Joshua, clash on the dunes, December 7th in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. That will be taking place in an open air arena that was supposed to be holding 12 to 13,000, but I think Eddie Hearn has increased the seats to 15 or 16,000, considering the event has already become bigger than Eddie Hearn already expected. I already knew the event was going to be big, but being the businessman that Eddie Hearn is, he has to take in considering that he is treading into new territory, considering that this is Saudi Arabia, and he hasn't hosted a heavyweight event in Saudi Arabia. But if we look at what just took place with Amir Khan in Saudi Arabia and the big bread they put up on him just to have him there, we would already know that these guys are game. I believe his name is Omar Khalil. He sat in with Eddie Hearn during the press conference. He's on behalf of the investors who put up the money for the event. They've also staged, the European golf PGA golf tournament. They staged Formula E, a bunch of Formula One events. They had David Guetta. They've had plenty of sporting events, including the World Boxing Super Series. And another thing, for any of you that are planning on buying tickets to the Anthony Joshua event, your visa will be granted upon purchase of the tickets. I am not here to speak all of the ins and outs on a bullshit level 2 threat level with Saudi Arabia. Not saying that the threat level is bullshit, but this is what I'm saying. Anywhere in the world, there will be problems. You will run across people that have malicious intent to harm you. Shit, in America we have the Crips and the Bloods, we got MS-13, we got all types of gangs and shit. So, I mean, would that make America's threat level go up? I'm sure it would, in the eyes of other individuals who haven't been subjected to gang culture. Shit, I mean, they getting gangster shit over in the UK. I know about the craze, yeah. I know about the craze, how they run the prison systems and all of that. I know about the craze, I know about, the long history of the underbelly that is the UK. Oh yeah, shout out to Peaky Blinders. I fucking love that show. Just as well as anywhere else in the world. So, everywhere has its bad seeds that are planted. But I am sure for an event of this capacity, hosting people such as Americans, as myself, hosting people such as Europeans, such as yourself, speaking about the United Kingdom and their community, they're going to be on high alert. The Queen, the Prime Minister, and the President, we ain't going for it. You snatch up one of us, we blowing up everything. And y'all know, the UK and America is like close cousins, man. We side to side with the shit. And I'm sure all of the other surrounding countries as well. This isn't leaving out anybody. Everybody will be protected on the same level. And as I always tell anybody with any street smarts or just any good general fucking common sense, when you are traveling abroad, you move with circles. Don't be out alone at night doing shit that you're not supposed to do. Make sure, since we have Google, the #1 search engine on the planet, you guys need to make sure that you do your history on Saudi Arabia and the things to look forward to when you go over in that country. I do know they do have their There's situations as far as women's, their laws with women and men, things differentiate. You know, they're a little bit more old-fashioned in their ways. I might not necessarily agree, but who am I to infringe on how another person or how another country lives their life? I can only respect it, and all I can do is tell ladies, tread cautiously. Gentlemen, tread cautiously. All right, that's enough of that. So, he also spoke on that there will be, the press conference will be held in New York, there will be one held in the UK, and I believe the other one is held in California. Don't quote me on that, as I only watched it once and I didn't take any notes. And the fact that I'm shooting this live, well, not live, I'm recording this, yeah, I can still pull it up for you guys, because I did it through KineMaster. I didn't do it through YouTube today, man. For some reason, my shit keeps shutting down, booting back up, shutting down, booting back up. But that's another story. That is my own little personal issues that I'm dealing with as far as information technology is concerned. But anyway, as I continue to dive into it, we all seen the bullshit tweet yesterday from Andy Ruiz in this camp. As Bruce Vane would like to say, this nigga speaking a bunch of Al Heyman. He has learned from the dark arts of Al Heyman and fuckery. And how he, and you know, anything that I feel as though the PBC does when they put the little battery and the chunky Energizer Bunny back, he is going to speak up and he's going to say some pretty outlandish things. But I would have to say this. And this is for any up-and-coming boxers, this is for any up-and-coming businessman, for any walk of life. When you do business, you always cross your T's and dot your I's. That's just plain and simple. You cross your T's and dot your I's. Now, it's one thing for Andy Ruiz to sign up on a voluntary to fight Anthony Joshua, but when you agree to the contracted terms and you agree to the rematch clause and only a minuscule bump in pay, which is a 10% if you became champion, you agreed to that. So you can't gripe about the $9 million and act like it's such chump change when you haven't even made $9 million in totality in your whole career and you were just on the brink of committing suicide. But that is a story for another day. Let's stay on the business side of this shit. Andy Ruiz signed that contract. It's already inked. So let's look at it from this perspective. If Andy Ruiz, how much money is he asking for? If Matchroom was willing to do it, you know what I mean? Cool. But then you would have to look at it like this too. Matchroom has the money. They got lawyers on deck, homie. So if you want to look at it from this aspect, Andy Ruiz wants a significant jump in pay. We already heard the crazy, outlandish number that he threw out there earlier on last month, about $50 million. He threw that number out there. And what I would have to say about that $50 million is, if he expects something in that realm, it absolutely won't happen. Anything, I don't care if it was 20, I don't care if it was 15, I don't see them coming to terms with that. I don't see any mutual agreement on reconstructing terms for Andy Ruiz to stroke his ego. He should be thankful of the position he's in. It got him and his wife and his child a beautiful Rolls Royce, a big house with the pool in the back so he can sit on back and do his little dead man float like a beach whale all day while he sits there and sucks the chocolate or the Snickers right off of his little fat stubby finger. Now, I usually wouldn't talk this way about Andy Ruiz, but considering all of the bullshit Andy Ruiz has done since he's won the belt, that's what brings me to this point. That's why I'm popping my shit. And hey, this is my channel. I'm going to talk. However, we ain't sucking cock for press passes over here. We keeping it all the way official. And staying in the underground with your work is how you keep it all the way official. I ain't never going to sell out. So y'all ain't got to worry about that. Now, back to the money. Honestly, Eddie Hearn, I don't ever see him playing ball with the demands that Andy Ruiz is making, because believe it or not, even though Andy Ruiz has those titles, Andy Ruiz know he needs Anthony Joshua to see a significant purse. The significant purse that he's making, he wouldn't get paid that as champion just with the PBC fighting anybody else. I can tell you that right now. Deontay Wilder's not even getting paid that. And Deontay Wilder is a bigger star than Andy Ruiz, and it fucking hurts to even say that shit. So, with Eddie having lawyers on deck, it would be cheaper to sue that motherfucker if he don't want to play ball. Real talk. Real talk. My thing is, would Matchroom want to go through with that? But I'm just giving you guys insight on other approaches that Matchroom would take other than acquiesce to his demands. So, with that being said, you guys know I didn't drop no video yesterday speaking on this shit. Y'all know I didn't say anything. I let everybody else drop their videos and get their opinions out because I knew this was a farce. I knew this wasn't going to happen. I knew that there was no way that Eddie Hearn would cave in on his demands. And if you listen to the multiple interviews that Manny Robles did, he would tell you too that we are going to honor the contract with Anthony Joshua. We signed on the dotted line. We have to honor the contract. Now, as Tim Bradley said on Fight Hype, bruh, you don't ever guarantee some money on the back end on a rematch clause. You should have said you were going to take the fight, agreed to that money, agreed to the rematch clause because you knew they wouldn't have given you the shot without it, but said we will negotiate the purse if I win. That should have been it. That's what you should have did. So that way, now that you're getting to this point, and with that big $100 million that the Saudis are putting up, you probably could have got 20 to 30 million out of the purse, considering that you are the champion, and it is an absolute must for Matchroom to get those unified belts back in the stable. We do not need a power shift to the PBC. I mean, look what they're already doing to boxing. Look what they're doing to boxing. They don't recognize Andy Ruiz as a WBO champ. They don't recognize Terrence Crawford. Hell, they're just becoming their own little island. They're doing their own thing. But that is for another day. Let's stay on topic. So, I reserved my opinion up until the press conference today because I wanted to hear what Eddie Hearn was going to say. And as we know now, both parties have signed off. The fight is going down. So you can rest all of that Andy Ruiz getting extra money to bed and so on and so forth. And speaking on the psyche and the mental well-being of Andy Ruiz right now, not saying he is mentally off or anything like that, but money is the root of all evil, and money has the tendency to change people. Instead of counting the blessings that you already have, you are sitting there suffering from short-term gluttony for money that can give you a significant long-term life change. And I'm saying that he's suffering from short-term gluttony because before it was Anthony Joshua, I want an autograph. Anthony Joshua, you're my favorite fighter. Anthony Joshua, I look up to you. Eddie, can we please have an opportunity? So on and so forth. So me knowing that, man, you got to understand, man, you can't pay attention to what people say most of the time. You got to look at the business aspect of things, man. And as I'm looking at the business, all signs show to me that Eddie Hearn has always been on top of his shit. He ain't going to tell you a fight's going down December 7th and have this fucking little runt-eating bastard try to tell you something different, because that's just not the case. So we do know that the fight is going down on December 7th. And for you UK guys, it is absolutely wonderful because Saudi Arabia time isn't going to differentiate too much from you guys. So you will be seeing the fight at the prime hour that our pay-per-views usually start, which is around 9 o'clock. So you guys will be getting the fight at 9 o'clock. You guys will be seeing that. As far as America is concerned, man, I don't know what we're doing. I don't know the DAZN schedule. I don't know the timing and so on and so forth. That is yet to be revealed, but it will be coming up. Now, Andy Ruiz needs to get focused. He needs to focus on the fight, and he truly needs to take this seriously because I'm seeing a lot of complacency on his end. And all I'm seeing is Joshua keep his head down, and he's grinding hard. He's working hard. He's mentally getting sharper. He's staying focused. He's admitting to the mistakes that he's made. And all Andy Ruiz is doing is making so many excuses for why he doesn't want to travel to UK, why he don't want to travel to Saudi Arabia. As soon as you get a date for the fight and it's on a neutral ground, you want to talk about you want a significant increase in purse. So all of these things tell me that Andy Ruiz is truly worried, that he knows that the good times aren't going to last. You better take that 9 plus that 7 and take that goddamn $16 million, sir, and make the most of it and take what you've done with your career to this point and move with it and propel to the next level. Now, I'm not no psychic, so I'm not saying Anthony Joshua is going to be guaranteed victorious, but if I had to bet 99.999% of the time, I would pick Anthony Joshua. Andrew Ruiz was that 1% on June 1st. Now, I'm just happy we moving forward with this event. We have a date. So we've got some good boxing coming up here, you know. I mean, shit, there are other events with other promotional outfits that are happening due to this time. And then the thing is, as far as all of the business and the litigation side of things, man, I could give a fuck less. I know you guys could give a fuck less because that's not what it's about. It is about the sweet science. I might talk to you guys about boxing, but overall, I am a fan. So I would like nothing more than to see Anthony Joshua and Andy Ruiz get it on, to see if Anthony Joshua will become a two-time champ, to see if Andy Ruiz might be able to beat Anthony Joshua, which I don't believe he can if I'm using my wits about me, and see the turnout in Saudi Arabia to see if we can truly make bigger waves in boxing. I want this to be a historic event. It has I can feel it in the air, even though it's hot as shit. It's going to be a historic event because we got the biggest boxer in the world going over to a new country, and now we are starting to, you know, set trends. We are starting to expand the world of boxing. That means the sport is going to grow. We're going to have more eyes on the sport. Who better to do it than Anthony Joshua? Such an enigmatic figure, such a guy that is larger than life. He has the looks, he has the swag, he plays to the crowd, he has the skill, he has all of the things to move on every part of the globe because you are a world champion. And when you are a world champion, you stomp through everyone's backyard. So with that being said, Anthony Joshua going over to Saudi Arabia with 70% of the fans and of the crowds and of all the sporting events being from the ages of 24 and under. You know, that means we have a very fresh, youthful crowd that are going to put eyes on Joshua, and we might have some next future champions coming out of Saudi Arabia in the future. All I'm saying is, let's make this a global spectacle. Let's continue to breathe life in the sport of boxing instead of trying to suffocate it. All I want to see is the sport grow. I want to see it do better. I want to see it get bigger. So in this instance, and with this case with Anthony Joshua, man, it is your time to shine. Andy Ruiz, it is your time to back up all of that shit you were talking about, because the robot is going to be standing across from you in the opposite corner, and he's not coming to play any games with you this time. So you guys can dismiss the first fight, because the first fight is no different than what happened to Sonny Liston when he fought Muhammad Ali the first time, playing around, and he smacked him in the face and he said, and Ali was like, what'd you do that for? Because you're too fresh. And Ali knocked his ass out in the 6th round or the 7th round, I believe, or he didn't want to come out of the stool after the 6th round. This has the same, it's no different than what happened to Mike Tyson and Buster Douglas. If you're thinking 42-1, I'm speaking odds, that is. And if you haven't seen 42-1, watch that on ESPN. Great boxing documentary about Buster Douglas. It's no different than Hasim Rahman and Lennox Lewis, when Lewis was backing up, straight up, playing around, smiling in his face, got clipped on the jaw and got knocked out for the 10 count. It is no, and then it brings us to the present, which is Andy Ruiz, Anthony Joshua. See, upsets happen. All champions get complacent. Most champions, except Floyd Mayweather Jr., they get complacent. They end up looking at guys like they're beneath of them, or they just can't get up for the same guys as they can't get up for this guy, say they would Tyson Fury or Deontay Wilder. Pause. So in that case, that's all it was, man. So this is the real fight right here. This fight will have all of the energy. This is the Anthony Joshua that you are expecting. This was the Anthony Joshua that has a whole country, half of the world on his shoulders. And will he come out and perform? I absolutely think he will. I think that this Saudi Arabia event is going to be good. I don't see anything but big events coming out of boxing. And I just think the sport is going to continue growing, and it's going to get bigger and it's going to get better. We need more eyes on the sport. We need more people talking about the sport. We need more better events. We need less corruption. We need less PBC, and we need more Top Rank. We need more Matchroom, because, hey, man, they ain't afraid to cross promote. But I've touched on that as well. Oh, yeah, and another news. Everybody welcome Billy Joe Saunders to the Matchroom stable, man. He's joined Matchroom USA off after an amicable split with Frank Warren. Now he's coming over to this side. We can get some really good battles. He's bringing a belt with him. And we got Demetrius Andrade over here. We got Callum El Mundo Smith. So I smell unification in the future. And another thing is, Regis Prograis has pulled out of the World Boxing Super Series. You know, I've heard other people such as Nonito Donaire having a problem with the World Boxing Super Series. It basically boiled down to a problem in the escrow, money not getting there on time. DeBella Entertainment and Prograis, they decided to take up legal action. But we'll have to see how all of that stuff pans out, because the World Boxing Super Series is guaranteeing us that they will get Regis Prograis back into the fold, because I want nothing more than to see my dog, Joshua, the Tartan Tornado Taylor, and Regis, Riggaroo, Prograis go at it. So, you know, that's all I got for you guys today. Just a little update on what's going on. So you guys can put the Andy Ruiz bullshit to bed. You guys can welcome Billy Joe Sanders and Regis Prograis. Come on back. Come on back to the World Boxing Super Series, because it's becoming one of my most beloved favorite events. And that's all I got for you guys today, man. As we always say, it costs you nothing to pay a nigga no mind. Y'all be blessed. Stay up on your respect. And more great boxing on the way, as usual. You dig? And I will keep coming with more and more footage. But after Wednesday, I will be offline. I will not be dropping videos for a week. Hey, a nigga gotta go on vacation. Kids is going crazy. You know how it is. But as we always say, it costs you nothing to pay a nigga no mind. Respect.